I make two leaves on either end of a piece of bar, and then I draw in between the leaves out to make a stem. Right in the center of that stem, I leave somewhat square. Not necessarily to help me with the weld, but to leave me more material. Square bar is roughly 25% larger volume than round bar. So if I leave it square on both sides, I've just got a 50% increase in volume, and that helps me with any wastage with my forge weld. So in the middle of that stem, and the middle is not the middle per mouth. The middle is kind of, because I want these to look a little random. I don't want them like soldiers marching in a nice little row. These things have got to look somewhat natural. So I just earmark it. I nick it with my chisel, and then it's a nice bright heat. You can see I've got a dog wrench or a scrolling wrench in the vise there. I just bend it around. Don't be tempted to do this at a low heat because you'll just rip that material and then you can two separate leaves, and that's not what we want. From there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and forge weld those two square bits together, and that's my top slide there. Now remember, we talked about making scarf preparation. We can either upset the angle for the toe of the scarf, or we can chisel cut. Well, if I upset and I'm holding onto the leaves, because that's the only thing I can really grasp hold of at the moment, then I'm going to bend those stems, and that's not what I want because it's going to be difficult to unbend them. So I'm using the chisel cut here to just cut the end of the bar off that weld, and you notice I've not refined that weld any, and it's not round. I'm going to do all that when I do my final weld to the next piece. So then I just go my normal step once I've made my chisel cut, which is a steep cut. Then I thin the toe of the scarf out, which is again changing the angle of that slope, and then I make my step in that bottom right slide, and you can see now that my angle of the toe of the scarf is starting to come into usable parameters, and that then is a scarf ready to go on to the next size up in material. I think I typically go I think I'll weld this to about 7/16, and then next one is, you know, ½ inch, 9/16 as I go down the weld.
Blacksmith Her Radio, forging blacksmiths together.